Hi everyone, Lock the Knee Out Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for another edition of List Week 2020. I am adding to my lists with a top 15 EPs of the year. A lot of great ones, a lot of good ones dropped over the past 365 days or so. I would like to highlight some of them, breezing through maybe the first leg of the list and then getting a bit more specific as we reach the top. Make sure to check these out if you get a chance. All of them are quite good in my opinion. We have links to here or more info down below, even links to some reviews if I did in fact review the EP in question. I didn't formally review all of these, but still I endorse and stand by all of them. So here we go. Starting with number 15, we have Uboa's Flesh of the World, another fantastic helping of post-industrial noise from this project that is well worth a listen. Then with 14, it is Zeal and Ardor's Wake of a Nation, a heavy and musical reaction to all of the political unrest that occurred this year. 13 is Disclosure's Ecstasy, a tight little EP that is filled with many fantastic house bangers. Following that at 12, we have Chromeo with Quarantine Casanova, a quarantine set of synth funk songs that are quite cheeky, fun, and cute, you know, about being locked away and wiping things down and cleaning stuff and wearing a mask and staying safe during the pandemic, so on and so forth. You know, if you're looking for Chromeo's sleek, sensual, and somewhat comedic music style applied to the hellish current day, give it a listen. With number 11, we have Cakes to Killa with Proper Villains on this Muvaland EP, some of the best hip house I've heard in a while, no question. If that's your style, if that's your steez, listen to it. Then with number 10, I have to give it to the experimental Japanese hip-hop trio Dos Monos with Dos Siki, a wonderful Injury Reserve feature on this project too. Killer production, great flows, wild, off-the-wall, creative, and insane energy that this group continues to bring, and I'm just psyched to see that develop on further releases. With number 9, it is Backxwash's Stigmata EP. Backxwash continues to find common ground between hip-hop, metal, and the occult on this tight, abrasive, and harrowing set of tracks. Number 8 on our list is Haru Nemuri's Lovetheism, where much of the epic and ambitious genre crossovers as well as instrumentation from Haru to Shura gets kicked up a notch. Shygirl's Alias lands at number 7, which is a solid set of bangers taking various experimental strains of electronic music to dark and exciting new places. With number 6, we have Bring Me the Horizon with post-human survival horror. The band goes full new and alternative metal on this one, grabbing some of the greatest sounds and ideas from those groups out of the late 90s and early 2000s, really reviving the best of that vibe of that era and writing some really consequential, urgent, and powerful songs in that vein that are a reflection on the current social landscape, on the way the pandemic is tearing apart the world. The lead singer of Evanescence features on this one, as well as Mick Gordon on production of Doom soundtrack fame. It's an incredible release for them, and I am hoping that they dive even further into these sounds in the future. The production, the sound design, the songwriting, everything on this EP, outside of a few tracks, is like as good as it's ever been for this band, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe bigger fans of their more metalcore stuff in the past are a little broken up about this direction, but I think it's a good EP that shows a lot of promise. Number 5 is the band Soul Glow, Songs to Yeet at the Sun. And this is easily some of the most ferocious punk rock that I've heard this year. God, the band really just sweats it out on these tracks. They're so ballsy, they're so bold, they're so explosive, the performances are great, the vocals are just absolutely insane. A lot of the riffs and tunes on this one are catchy too. I'm just really liking everything about this EP. As a longtime punk fan who I think in his old age has gotten very picky when it comes to a lot of this stuff, stuff, this was exciting and refreshing. Number 4 is Jockstrap with their Wicked City EP. This one is an EP that I truly love, but still to this day remains a bit of a head scratcher for me because it's such an odd assembly of tracks. I mean, this duo is truly an eclectic music phenomenon. There's so much variation across this EP. The fact that experimental styles of hip-hop and electronic music are crashing into art pop and what sounds like parlor songs and progressive pop too. It's really nuts what the duo is able to achieve in this very short assembly of tracks, and believe me, it has me absolutely psyched to hear how they'll be able to further branch out into the future, or even find, I guess, more ways to fuse all of this stuff together. Like, it's so disorienting in how many things are thrown at you, but the songs are still pretty cohesive. And on top of that, like, everything is done well. There doesn't really seem to be a moment where it's like, oh, they're trying this, they're sort of like venturing out into this direction randomly, but they're really bad at it, or they don't seem to have a knack or a taste for it. Not the case on this EP. Everything is just kind of bold and bright and creative, and I don't know. This has made me very Jockstrap curious, very Jockstrap curious. Also, of course, want to give a shout out to the new EP from JPEGMAFIA. EP. This is really just a bunch of songs that Peggy was dropping randomly throughout the year, all of which like hit with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 in my opinion. And then at the end of 2020, you just kind of threw them onto one project, EP. Don't really have too much more to say about it other than that Peggy remains, even dropping in this sporadic style, one of the most exciting and I guess adventurous and dynamic voices in experimental and industrial hip-hop right now. Just continue to love the guy's work, love the guy's style. I think even in this format, in this shorter format, his talents most definitely show. The new EP from producer, songwriter, experimentalist Slauson Malone is one of my favorites of the year as well. That lands at number 2. Obviously, seems like a bit of an extension of the Quiet Farewell record that he broke through with. Are you still harping on some of those ambient and experimental and sample and hip-hop based musical themes, but now incorporating more acoustics, more jazz, more nods to singer-songwriter music as well. It's definitely one of the most surreal listens that I've had this year, and it's just such a tangled and I guess a disorienting experience. The sound play as well is incredible. Slauson just continues to outdo himself in terms of textural versatility and I suppose just the way he edits and builds his music in terms of just layering and transitioning and glitching and clipping certain sounds in the way that he does. It's quite a sonic display. Then finally, at my number 1 spot, I want to point everyone to this new Tkay Maidza EP. Last year was weird. Volume 2, goddamn. The tunes, the production, the performances, the versatility. Tkay does such a fantastic job of blending all of these elements of hip-hop and pop and dance music in such a seamless way, and tributing artists like Santi Gold and Missy Elliott in the process. Most of the songs on this EP have been stuck in my head since I heard them earlier this year, and considering just how good the material on this thing is, it just has me excited for whatever Tkay is going to be doing in the future. As of right now, I would say get ahead of the inevitable that if Tkay keeps putting out stuff this good, she's gonna blow up big, and just get in on the ground floor now, start enjoying her stuff now, because if this is how good the EP material is, with like some real support, an album would totally crush it. So yes, if for some reason you have not heard this EP, please give it a listen. This is, again, my EP of the year. I mean, it's so freaking consistent, front to back bangers, and with a few more tracks, it really like could have just been an album. It's a very robust listen. listen, not really scant in any way, shape, or form, and I think a really great introduction to who Tkay is as an artist right now in this moment, because she's been at this music thing for a while and has evolved quite a bit since she originally broke through, and without question she is putting out her best stuff now, and it sounds like there's even better yet to come. So yeah, that's it. Those are the projects that I want to push to you in this EPs list. These are my EPs of the year. I recommend all of them. Try them all out. Try out the ones you haven't already. I think they're all quite great. Transition, have you given any of these projects a listen? If you did you love them? Did you hate them? What would you rate them? Make sure to leave down in the comments what are your top 5, top 10 EPs of the year are. And yeah, I love you. Thanks for rocking with me through this hellish year. Anthony Fantano, EPs 2020, forever.